Okay, everybody, I am so excited today because I am joined by Alexa Blair Robertson, who plays Mia in Terrifier 3, which is in theaters now. We're going to be talking spoilers in this interview, so make sure to watch the film first. Alexa, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy you're on. I'm happy I'm
Yeah.
talking to you during this like crazy buzz for this film. And
Ah,
the scene that sticks with me, there's a bunch, but I love your acting in the scene. You do this little monologue where Mia says, I want to know what it's like to be in the presence of that kind of evil. I was wondering, watching that scene, was that what you had to do for your audition?
yes, you nailed it. That was definitely one of my audition scenes. I think that was second round. They sent me that little blurb of dialogue, and then we carried that through to the chemistry read too. So that was something that Mason and I got to kind of go back and forth with and tweak first couple days, couple weeks. It was nice.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I could tell because like monologues always feel like the audition thing. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So she must have
Yeah,
landed this with this. Good.
nailed it. Yeah,
Nailed it.
for sure.
Was there any hesitation for you taking this part? Had you seen the other two films prior?
So I have to be transparent. Prior to the audition process, I had not like learned all about Terrifier. I kind of was like, oh, interesting audition, let's go for it. Whenever I started getting further through the process, I was like, okay, let me do my research here. Reached out to a buddy of mine who's really involved in he loves all things horror. And I was like, you ever heard of this franchise called The Terrifier? And he like freaked out and was like, Damien's my idol. Like, it was like you have to go for it. So then I started doing my research and I was just super inspired at like the whole like fairy tale story of Terrifier and how like it's from the ground up and how Damien has built this phenomenon brick by brick. And so then I was like, this is the challenge that I've been waiting for and that I've been wanting so badly in my career. So I was just excited that that came my way and I was ecstatic to get to work.
That's really interesting too, because with your character Mia being then obsessed with Art the Clown and everything around it, was that easy for you to jump into that as you're trying to like research and learn all this stuff?
No, absolutely. I felt very connected to Mia in that way, just because like the true crime obsession that we have nowadays, and how accessible that is. And I was like, I get her. The second that like a new documentary on Netflix drops regarding like some serial killer, you better believe I'm like sat on my couch, ready. Take like I'm so intrigued. I love to learn just like generally. So I definitely feel like that resonated with me. And I even though she did not go about it always in the best way, I do think that like it was kind of cool to have a character who was so passionate about something.
Well, running off your little thought there too about you didn't go about it the best way. You accomplished the mission because a lot of people get mad at your character. But
Yeah.
have you had that experience some actors have when they play that type of role? Like, has anyone seriously been mad at you, like mentioned you or like messaged you like I hate you kind of thing?
I've been getting the absolutely most insane messages. All of them, or vast majority of them, I have to say, have been so supportive and kind. But the funniest ones, in my opinion, are like, "Oh my God, that girl was so freaking annoying. I couldn't wait that she got killed. She did a really good job." And I'm like, "Okay, good. I did my job then." I'm like, "That's Mia. She's supposed to be kind of in your face. She doesn't really take no for an answer, and she's gonna rub you the wrong way if you're like a major Sienna Jonathan fan, which most people are." So and a lot of people are like, yeah, you got what you deserved. And I'm like, yeah, fair. I totally did. She wanted to meet Art and she got him. So
Good. As long as they can separate the actor from the character, everything's good,
yeah,
right? Everything's
people have been
gravy.
sweet about it. They're like, you made me hate you so much that you did such a good job. I'm like, okay, the first time I've wanted people to hate me, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. Also, what people forget about this film is that a lot of these films have a lot of great humor in it. So when I think one of the funniest moments that you're in is when Mia is seducing her boyfriend to get an interview with Jonathan, but Art is behind them peeping. So
Yes.
is that in the back of your head during that scene? Like, how do you not break character during that?
Well, I have to be totally honest and say like I didn't know that was going on. Like because they would have like me and Mason kind of running through our lines and going through it so like he could have the verbal cues and things like that. But like David is so immensely talented that he just gets up there and has fun. Like there was like that wasn't like per se like written in the script. Like that was David being David and he just like was reacting to my little spiel there. But yeah, Mia knew how to get her way. So
Oh,
it
that's
was pretty great.
incredible to
I
hear.
definitely
No, what were we
yeah,
gonna say?
it's amazing to work on stuff like that. I was gonna say it's really inspiring to work with people like David and Lauren and Mason too, who are just like really great actors. And I learned so much just by being there and learning through experience. It's great.
Yeah, no, that's a great story. That's amazing, and it's interesting too because then the scene that sticks with you because these movies will plant things in your head whether you like it or not is that shower scene, which is just iconic. So you have the biggest task in that
Yeah.
scene though, right? Because you're not the first one attacked, so you have to react. You have to react thing and this amazing screaming and facial reactions. Was there any horror scenes that you watched to prep for that from other movies?
Saw franchise just because that's like a body horror film where it's a lot of painful reaction, if that makes sense. And so there's a difference between being terrorized and being in extreme physical pain. So I think I definitely drew from that franchise a lot. But also, and I've kind of spoken about this in other interviews I've done, being in that situation. So I prepared for months thinking about this role, mentally preparing. We choreographed it. We spoke with our intimacy coordinator. So much goes into that. But in the moment, it felt very true and vulnerable and like from within me because I have a chainsaw in my freaking face and people are throwing blood on me. It's like super cold and like I don't know, like my body I feel like went into this like hybrid where it was both me and Mia experiencing that in tandem. And so it just kind of came out of me, which I thought was super amazing. It was my first time being in a position like that on set and I loved it. I have the bug. I like want to do all the challenging scenes now.
Oh yeah, and you stepped up to the plate when that came, and I really want to point out, and this isn't just kissing up to you, but when Mia's face is carved, you still are able to show the terror in your eyes when Art's about to put those glasses on you, which is very impressive. What
Thank you.
how much prosthetics were you in there, and could you even see when that was happening?
By the end of filming, like, because we shot the shower scene over 3 or 4 days, and by the final day of shooting was like, the end, like where she's actually like getting killed. And spoiler, and I was covered head to toe. I had a wig cap on, a wig. I had a full chest prosthetic. I had a full stomach prosthetic. I had blisters covering my entire body, all prosthetics, and not only that, but like blood so coated not only on my body, but we put it in my mouth too, so I could like regurgitate it. Sorry, that's gross. Um, but it was such a unique feeling. I have never, it was my first time actually working with any prosthetics at all. So to have the opportunity to dive into the deep end and to work with like Christian from Tinsley Studios and Heather, who are so incredible at their craft, and also like under Damien's direction, it was like a crash course of prosthetics. I feel like I could take on anything now. It was quite literally my from head to toe. A lot of people are very interested being like, oh my God, like what did it feel like to be like not wearing anything? And I was like, oh guys, I was totally wearing stuff. But like there was like that was not like my body. Like it was completely false. So
Oh wow,
kind of an
yeah, and it's cool that you're able to do it in those different type of challenging environments. And is there anything we didn't see or was cut from this scene, or did it always kind of go down the exact way we see it?
not gonna lie, I think both Mason and I were a little bit surprised when we saw the final cut just because that was not like the original plan, but that's how it always is, like any film, there's gonna be changes in post. And so the original, which I hope I'm allowed to say this, I actually had this like crawling sequence where my character at first he kind of like leaves her after she like he scalps her, he leaves her, and I try to like get away by crawling across some broken glass. And then that final cut, which it did make the final scene, but where they like actually separate my top half and bottom of half of my body, that was actually taking place outside of the shower. So then whenever Art lays down to do the angel, it's supposed to be like where I was originally cut. But I loved the cut that they went with. And like, oh my God, Mason's sequence was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So I think they made the right call. And it was whatever they did, it was magic because everyone's been talking about it. And I'm just honored to be a part of something very iconic like that.
Well, you're saying it right there, very iconic, which it is. So, did you on set feel like was there a feeling on set like this is going to be like the scene that people like are talking about? Like, did you feel that?
Well, Damien did say that when we were first discussing like my offer and joining the Terrifier franchise, he was kind of like, I think you should know, like, this is going to be a really crazy scene. I need to make sure that you're not squeamish. I want to make sure you're up to the plate. Like, this is going to be intense, but it's also going to be what a lot of people leave the film talking about. And, I just saw it as a challenge where I was just like excited to take it on and feeling blessed to even be invited into such a great space. But it didn't feel real until after the premiere. And I was kind of like, dang, that was awesome. And then my phone just started blowing up. The response has been incredible from the Terrifier fans. They are ride or die and like quite literally die. Um, and they are so awesome. And the support has been honestly overwhelming. And I felt it was a challenging process, but I would do it a million times over just to receive like all of the praise that I feel like is coming our way. It's been really, really great to feel so supported.
Oh, that's great. And it's exciting for you because we see that you did your first red carpet for the premiere. And like you're saying, the praise, but not only the
Yeah,
praise, but it's also
yeah.
praise that's like in the money, meaning like people are showing up. The box office is doing incredible. It's taking over October. So are you, do you,
Hello, number one, number
yeah,
one.
hell yeah. So do you feel like you're currently in a life-changing moment with all this going on?
100%. I would definitely say this past week has felt like definitely kind of a peak in my career. And not a peak per se, but like a high point in my career. And I have been feeling very blessed and just really excited. I think the support has really pushed me to really keep going in this genre. And I'm looking actively for more opportunities to kind of explore that part of myself. And I'm just excited to see where everything goes. And I remember David told me when I joined the cast, he was like, your life's about to change. Are you ready? And I was like, oh yeah, like thought he was just being sweet. And now here we are. And I'm just like, you weren't kidding, man. This is amazing. And I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's really exciting to see this all just be so successful. And I'm wondering, did you get to keep a souvenir for set from you? Like, do you have the chainsaw hanging behind you right now?
Oh, that would have been iconic. Unfortunately, I didn't get to leave with the chainsaw. Art wanted to use that again. But I actually have a lot of my body prosthetics that I took home, which like I don't know how to display them without being like super disturbing to everyone who enters my home because it's like severed boobs. But I think it's really cool, and I just going through that whole process of making the prosthetics, like I wanted to take everything home. I'm like, can I have my body cast? Can I have this? Like I was like, this is so cool. Like you literally made like a 3D version of it. I just have never seen anything like that. So I wish I'd gotten away with more, but I have a few things for sure.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I always thought like I'm jealous that they make a recreation of you. That's sick, and that yeah, that's a perfect souvenir to have. And I'm wondering too, because you mentioned you want to do more horror. You started a lot of your life dancing, and you were a Nick City dancer. So is
Correct.
dancing the number one love, or is it acting, or is it kind of like even for you?
They're definitely in tandem for me. Dance was my first love, and that's where I kind of got my start performing. And I will say, for me, while dance is very physical, it's always about the emotive and performance side of things, which I think naturally connected me to acting. And that was like an internal thing that was always within me. My truest dream, like my pipe dream to any and all people out there, is I would love to be able to explore those things in the same time in the same role. I really, really, really want to be able to bring all of my passion, all of my training to a head with like a dance heavy role. So that's kind of, yeah, that's how it is for me. But I keep up with both of them the same. For me, my three loves were always school, dance, and acting. So
Oh, that's
that's,
great.
yeah.
You got many hats, and that's just only going to help you in so many ways. That's great. I'm excited to see what you do next. And just before we sign off on this, you have such an inspirational story being a cancer survivor. Is there any advice you can give to people currently in that situation?
Yeah, growing up with a diagnosis looming over your head is not an easy thing to do. And I empathize for anyone who is going through any medical battle of any kind. My biggest advice is that nothing can define you. You can do anything you put your mind to, and hard work and hope and support from those around you will allow you to surpass any obstacle and have faith in yourself and know that you are cannot be defined by anything.
Oh, I love that. That just gave me hope for today. It feels good. Alexa, you are awesome in this film. I can't wait to see more. Maybe you'll come back as some evil spirit in Terrifier 4. You never know.
Look, hey, I'm just gonna say she was still blinking. She was still blinking, y'all. Damien, you hear me?
I love that. Everybody watch Alexa Kill and Terrify 3. It's in theaters now. Tell your friends about it. Let's keep that momentum going. Alexa, thank you for joining me today, and I hope to talk to you in the future.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on. This was really fun.